Welcome to Solution Seekers. Once again, I'm Kelly. How's everybody doing? Everybody's doing well, or remarkably well, I hope. For myself, been better, but I can't complain. But what I can complain about is why is there just seems to be nothing but conflict and confusion. And what I mean by that is social media has been a big part of our lives and probably always will be a big part of our lives. But I've just been noticing, I don't know, for months, or probably for years, is that when we get around election time, people just seem to lose their damn minds. And regardless of what position you want to take in your life, is that a means to destroying relationships and friendships that you may have had for 5 years, 10 years, or maybe possibly even your whole life? When at the end of the day, none of those politicians are really going to even care. It's funny is that we're sitting here on the bottom level fighting against one another in the midst of a COVID-19 economic downturn, the George Floyd issue, the looting, and now we're come up trying to open up all the states. Schools are trying to get reestablished in the fall, at least out here in California, and the plan they have is asinine. But anyway, but why are people fighting, man? We're just, life is already too complicated enough. Life is not short. I think we feel life is too short because we fill our lives full of garbage. I know I do. I have. And I still do. But life is going to be what it's going to be. But why let conflict and confusion actually be the incubator of causing chaos online or with your friends or at family dinners just because of politics? Can't we agree to disagree? Honestly, everybody, it would be a bad world if everybody thought that I did. Because trust me, I'm probably crazy as they come. I've had my moments, and I think that we all do. I like to think that everybody is crazy, but only the truly successful will ever admit it. Because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I don't really. It's my perception that I don't think nobody really knows what the hell they're doing. We just figure it out as we go along. The next solution. It's always finding the right solution. Sometimes the right solution in the wrong time doesn't always work out. But once again, there's no such thing as a bad experience. The only thing that happens is that if you don't learn from it, and then it gives you an opportunity to grow from it. But this conflict and confusion, there's misinformation, disinformation, bad information, the truth, and then downright lies. But it's getting kind of hard to navigate through when you do a internet search to try to get some appropriate answers, because there's some mechanisms out there that are trying to pull the wool over eyes, for a better case of words. There's also some elements out there that are trying to derive some preconceived outcomes. What they are, I have no idea, because they're all over the place. I don't think this is conspiracy theory. This is just based upon my what's happened to me in my life over the last, let's say, 10, 15 years. But you know what? Nobody can do anything to myself that I'm not going to allow them to do to me. Because obviously I have to put myself in the arena for conflict and confusion. I choose not to do it. Now I would like to have. I love having open dialogue, debates. Sometimes I get a little heated because I'm very passionate about it. I'm not yelling or screaming. I'm just very passionate about a lot of things, especially commitment. Man, when you talk about commitment, I'm sorry, but. What can we do to try to resolve some of this conflict and confusion? Me, myself, I'm limiting on which comments I'm making and which groups that I'm making it to, because on social media, I'm in on Facebook, a lot of like Reopen California groups and that I've been invited to, and X22 Political, and there's just a bunch of little different groups. And for the most part, me and those people do not agree whatsoever. But I'm learning something, and at the in the same time, and hopefully vice versa, that there always has to be an opposing viewpoint. I'm the type of person that I'm going to be truth. I'm going to bring the light onto the darkness, and that's just where I'm at with it. I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that I am willing to try to bring some truth and light to the situation, as opposed to dark and dismay and just going on with the status quo. Well, it's always been like that, but it doesn't have to be like that. It's only like that if we choose for it to be that way. Because ultimately the power is all in our hands. The power of decision, the power of interaction, the power of, man, is this really worth my time? What am I going to get out of this? Am I going to get a paycheck out of this? Is that person going to change? Most likely not. So then at the end of the day, is it just like, oh, I told them? But at the end of the day, who really cares? It's sort of like it's like that. What do they say? If you stand around waiting for some closure, find yourself in a hostage situation, because closure is a joke. Things happen. We have to get thick face, thick skin, and just get over them, and then just keep going forward. And waiting for an apology or waiting for somebody to come with, oh, you hurt my feelings. It's like, whatever. Because if you go out into the jungle or into the desert, there's a bunch of rattlesnakes, lions, and tigers and bears that's really going to hurt your feelings. You're not going to ask them for an apology. So why would you want to get one from somebody online? For me, the best thing to do is, like, I can kind of look at myself and say, you know what? I might be kind of screwed up in some ways, but at least I'm not that screwed up. That's always been my default. Always using those bad examples that I run into, good examples that I can kind of like reflect and look at my own self and say, hey, people might say whatever they want about me, but you know what? I'm not that. Maybe I once was, but at least not today that I'm not, because I'm willing to make some sacrifices and evolve and grow and open up, having a higher level of consciousness, and at the end of the day, that's, for me, that's what it's all about, and let me back up for one moment here. I guess it's not going to be as short as I thought it was going to be. There comes a point in time in our lives whereas everything starts building up to a great degree, right? Things become so unmanageable, or at least their perception of unmanageability. But then I found out in my own personal life, when I look at the unmanageability of a lot of things that's going on with me, what is it actually in my control versus what's outside of my control? If I focus on what's in my control as opposed to what's outside of my control, things get a lot better, simpler, and a lot easier for all intents and purposes. But if I want to sit here and look at things that are outside of my control, like trying to control somebody else, trying to control somebody's thoughts, feelings, or emotions, been there, done, and I'm not even going to try that one, because that's just a frustrating. It's a frustrating exercise. Whereas today, I can just kind of like look back and not being aloof, but just say, you know what, I'm gonna pray for this person, or you know what, I hope at some point something happens in your life to where you actually grow up, or maybe you are acting like a juvenile, maybe you are acting like a toddler, you know. And that's only because we have to hold ourselves accountable to that things that we do and say. And I have to take responsibility for the things that I do, and have to take responsibility for the things that I say, which is also accountability, which is very big in my life, as well as integrity, some humility, gratitude, honesty, loyalty, all those words that the words that used to mean something, but now they're just catchphrases today, when I actually invest into those words and the action. Those are action words because they take action. You just don't get them by manifest destiny. And I don't know. Just praying for everybody as much as I possibly can. Yes, and even 45. But But when I say that I'm praying for somebody, because I pray, I want everybody to do better than myself. First and foremost, being selfless. But also, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. Because when it becomes all about me, Kelly used to be really, really, really selfish, and he didn't give a crap about nobody else but himself and what he was doing. But today, it's not like that anymore. And and I just hope. I just hope. And I like hope. Hope is like having it's like the opening door to a solution. And I just pray, and I hope that as we get further deeper into this political cycle, that people are a lot nicer to each other, or just how about not don't even not even nice, how about civil? I think that's the word that I'm looking for. As a society, I know we live in a violent country. Violence, United States was founded upon violence, and it always probably will, always will be violence until which point people take an oath to where they say that all the violence stops from this point going forward. But that's probably a long time away. But and I hope that you are not dealing with no conflict or controversy in your own personal life. If you are, hey, what's the solution for you? If you have one, mention it down in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe this if you got anything out of this. So until next time, everybody have a great day.